Mia Carter wasn't your typical artist. At 24 years old, she'd already faced more challenges than most people do in a lifetime. Born into a working-class family, she grew up dreaming of becoming an artist, despite the odds stacked against her. Her parents always encouraged her creativity, but they couldn't afford art school. So Mia taught herself everything she knew: how to mix colors, how to capture emotion on canvas, how to turn her pain into something beautiful. Life seemed to be finally falling into place for her until that fateful day when the doctor delivered the news: stage 3 cancer. The diagnosis felt like a punch to the gut. How could this happen to someone so young? But Mia refused to give up. She fought back with every ounce of strength she had, even as the treatments drained her physically and financially. By the time winter rolled around, Mia was down to her last few dollars. That's when she decided to take her paintings to the streets. If she couldn't sell them in galleries, maybe someone passing by would see their worth. And so, every day after her appointments, she'd haul her easel and canvases to the busiest corner of Manhattan, hoping to catch the eye of a passerby who appreciated art as much as she did. The stakes were high. Without enough money for her next round of chemo, her chances of survival dwindled with each passing day. But Mia didn't let fear consume her. Instead, she poured all her energy into her art, creating pieces that told stories of hope, resilience, and love. Each brushstroke carried a piece of her heart, and each painting became a lifeline. And then on that chilly December morning, something extraordinary happened. As the morning unfolded, Mia's corner attracted a steady stream of curious onlookers. Some stopped to admire her work, others asked questions about her process, and a few even purchased smaller pieces. It wasn't much, but it was enough to keep her spirits high. But then, out of the corner of her eye, Mia noticed someone different: a woman dressed in an elegant coat, carrying a leather satchel that looked like it cost more than Mia made in a month. The woman paused in front of one of Mia's larger paintings, a vibrant depiction of a sunset over the ocean. Her expression shifted from curiosity to awe, and she leaned closer, studying every detail. Mia's heart raced. Who was this person, and why did they seem so captivated by her art? "Excuse me," the woman said softly, turning to Mia. "Did you create this?" Mia nodded, unsure of what to say. "Yes, I did. Is there something wrong with it?" The woman smiled warmly. "No, nothing wrong at all. In fact, it's absolutely stunning. May I ask your name?" "Mia Carter. And what inspired this piece?" Mia hesitated for a moment before deciding to be honest. "It's my way of holding on to hope. I've been fighting cancer for 6 months now, and painting helps me cope. This particular painting reminds me that even after the darkest storms, there's always a chance for new beginnings." The woman's eyes widened slightly, as though processing Mia's words deeply. "You have quite a gift, Miss Carter. Your work speaks directly to the soul." Just then, another passerby recognized the woman and whispered excitedly, "That's Karoline Leavitt, the famous artist." Mia froze. She'd heard of Karoline Leavitt. Of course, everyone had. Her paintings sold for millions at auctions worldwide, and her exhibitions drew crowds from across the globe. But here she was, standing right in front of Mia, looking not at some grand gallery but at a humble street corner. Before Mia could react, Caroline turned back to her. "Tell me, how much are you asking for this piece?" Mia stammered, caught off guard. $500. Caroline raised an eyebrow. $500? For a masterpiece like this? That's far too little. She reached into her satchel and pulled out a checkbook. As she began writing, Mia felt a mix of disbelief and panic. Was this really happening? Could this stranger truly understand the value of her art? But the surprise didn't stop there. After handing Mia the check, Caroline added, "I'd also love to take a look at your other works. Do you have a studio or somewhere I can visit?" Mia shook her head. "Not exactly. Most of my paintings are still at home. I haven't had the means to rent a proper space." Caroline frowned thoughtfully. "Well, perhaps we can arrange something. Would you mind if I came by later today?" Mia couldn't believe her ears. A world-renowned artist wanted to see more of her work. What did this mean? Was this some kind of dream or nightmare? As the day went on, word spread quickly about the encounter. People began gathering around Mia's corner, eager to catch a glimpse of the mysterious artist who had captured Karoline Leavitt's attention. Some offered words of encouragement, while others simply marveled at Mia's talent. By the end of the afternoon, Mia had sold nearly all of her paintings and secured enough money to cover her upcoming chemo treatment. Yet despite the excitement, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. There was something about Karoline Leavitt's interest that hinted at bigger things to come. Later that evening, Mia nervously prepared for Karoline Leavitt's visit. Her tiny apartment felt cramped and cluttered compared to the grand spaces Karoline was used to, but there wasn't much she could do about it. She arranged her remaining paintings carefully on the walls and floor, hoping they would speak for themselves. When the doorbell rang, Mia took a deep breath and opened the door. There stood Karoline, dressed casually, yet still exuding an air of elegance. Without wasting time, she stepped inside and began examining the artwork with keen interest. For what felt like hours, Karoline moved from one painting to another, occasionally pausing to study a particular detail or ask Mia questions about her technique. Mia answered as best she could, though her nerves made her voice tremble at times. Finally, Karoline stopped in front of a large canvas titled Hope in Shadows. It depicted a lone figure standing amidst a stormy sky, reaching out toward a faint light in the distance. Tears welled up in Karoline's eyes as she gazed at it. "This is extraordinary," she murmured. "It's raw, powerful, and deeply personal. Where does this come from?" Mia hesitated, unsure if she should share such intimate details, but something about Karoline's sincerity put her at ease. "It's based on my own experience," she admitted. "The figure represents me, trying to hold on to hope despite everything." Karoline nodded slowly, clearly moved. "Your story resonates through your art, Mia. It's rare to find someone who can convey emotion so authentically. That's why I want to offer you something." Mia's heart skipped a beat. What kind of offer?" Karoline smiled gently. "I'd like to mentor you, teach you everything I know about the art world, how to refine your skills, how to market yourself, how to reach a wider audience. And beyond that, I'd like to help fund your treatments. No strings attached." Mia stared at her, speechless. This was beyond anything she could have imagined. A mentorship with Karoline Leavitt, financial support for her medical bills. It sounded almost too good to be true. "But why me?" she finally managed to ask. "Because you deserve it," Karoline replied firmly. "Your talent is undeniable, and your courage inspires me. Together we can turn your dreams into reality." Tears streamed down Mia's face as she hugged Karoline tightly. For the first time in months, she allowed herself to believe that maybe, just maybe, things were going to be okay. But just as the moment seemed perfect, Karoline added one final twist. "There's one more thing, Mia. I'd like to feature your work in my upcoming exhibition. It's scheduled to take place in Paris next spring, and it'll be attended by collectors, critics, and artists from all over the world. Are you ready for that?" Mia blinked, overwhelmed. Paris, an international exhibition. Could she really handle all of this? I think so," she stammered. "I mean, I'll try my hardest." Karoline chuckled. "That's all anyone can ask for. Now, let's get started." As Karoline pulled out her phone to make calls and send emails, Mia realized that her life was about to change forever. The challenges ahead wouldn't disappear overnight, but now she had someone in her corner, a legendary artist, who believed in her potential. And as the night wore on, Mia couldn't help but wonder, was this the beginning of a new chapter, not just for her art, but for her entire life? The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of activity. With Karoline's guidance, Mia learned more about the art world than she ever thought possible. She refined her techniques, explored new styles, and began building a portfolio that showcased her unique perspective. Meanwhile, Karoline took care of the logistics, ensuring Mia's treatments stayed on track without any financial worries. As the date of the Paris exhibition approached, Mia grew increasingly nervous. Would her work stand out among the masterpieces of renowned artists? Could she truly hold her own on such a grand stage? Despite her doubts, Karoline reassured her with unwavering confidence. "You belong there, Mia," she said firmly. "Your art tells stories that need to be heard. Trust in yourself." And so, when the day finally arrived, Mia stepped into the stunning gallery in Paris, surrounded by works from some of the most celebrated artists in the world. Her paintings hung proudly alongside theirs, each one telling its own tale of hope, struggle, and triumph. To her amazement, the response was overwhelming. Collectors praised her talent, critics raved about her authenticity, and fellow artists expressed admiration for her courage. One piece, Hope in Shadows, caught the eye of a wealthy philanthropist who purchased it for a staggering sum, donating part of the proceeds to cancer research. For Mia, the experience was both exhilarating and humbling. She realized that her journey wasn't just about surviving cancer, it was about finding purpose, connecting with others, and using her gift to make a difference. Back home in New York, life slowly returned to normal, or as normal as it could be for someone whose world had been turned upside down. Mia continued creating art, inspired by the people and moments that shaped her life. And though the road ahead remained uncertain, she faced it with renewed strength and optimism. As for Karoline Leavitt, she became more than just a mentor, she became a friend. Their collaboration sparked something special, not only for Mia, but for the entire art community. Together they proved that even in the darkest times, hope could shine brightly through creativity and compassion. But as the credits rolled on this chapter of Mia's life, one question lingered in the air. What would come next? Would Mia continue to rise in the art world? Would her partnership with Karoline lead to even greater adventures? Or would her greatest masterpiece still lie ahead? Only time would tell. But one thing was certain, Mia Carter's story was far from over. As Mia stood in the Paris gallery, surrounded by admirers and supporters, she realized that her journey wasn't just hers alone, it belonged to everyone who had ever faced adversity and refused to give up. Her story was proof that even in the toughest moments, hope could guide us towards something extraordinary. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more true tales of courage and resilience. Who knows? The next story might feature someone just like you, a fighter, a dreamer, or a survivor, whose journey will leave you breathless. And remember, no matter how dark the skies may seem, there's always a chance for new beginnings. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.